Hey, what's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another Transformers review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Club exclusive animated Cheetor, which is supposed to be kind of based off the Trans-Tech Cheetor that never came out, I believe. And in conventional Transformers Club style, you get a really nice thick box inside. There's foam, really nice feeling. Definitely feels like a nice box. And yeah, so you get a little bit of art that has been done for him. You may want to take note of this, because right out of the box he's a little bit lacking, but we'll get to that when we get there, and I'll bring this back in so you can see it. Yeah, so you see the actual toy is the car, and then the drawing, and then in the back I guess he's the Cybertron Police Defense Command of the Trans-Tech Precinct. You probably, I don't know if you can read that or not, but that's what it says. And we can open it up, but I already did that, and we've got the toy right here. Now, Cheetor is just a slight remold for the head, and a repaint of the blur mold. And I don't know, I guess it depends on what you think about it. In the alternate mode, these spots here are just like random, just like a regular cheetah would be. And it's okay. It's a little bit distracting. I guess you gotta like it or you don't. I wasn't really sold on picking up this guy at first, and ultimately ended up deciding to do so just because I like animated and it was attainable. The one thing I do like is the head sculpt for Cheetor kind of like fills out the back a little better, which is always the one complaint of the blur mold, is that it has a big open hole there. But at least from a top view, it looks a little bit nicer than the blur mold. Just for comparison, here is the blur mold. You can see they're the same, whereas blur has that antenna and I guess the triangle that comes out. I just kind of like the back of Cheetor a little bit more. I don't know, it's your personal preference. The one thing I like about blur better is you've got, this wheel is pretty cool. What it is it's like a ring in here that rotates around. The wheel part itself, this outer part, doesn't actually move, it's just this inner ring. But he does still roll, a little bit, enough. And you got the front wheel, which is just the standard wheel. And I like this on blur better because you got the, the painted blue on both wheels. And Cheetor has a little bit of extra paint apps where you have the silver. And to me, on the front, it's a bit distracting. I don't mind it so much on the back. But I don't think I would have been opposed to seeing this being just black inside, or maybe only like a dab of silver on the very inner side. But as it is, it sticks out a little too much, and to me on the side view, it kind of messes up the car just a little. But that's just my thoughts on that. So that's pretty much it for the alternate mode. Not a whole bunch to say besides that. There's the awful back end shot. But yeah, so we might as well take it to alternate mode, or the robot mode, and I'll do it twice because I'm going to do it for blur too. This mold's one of the ones that I guess is a tiny bit more tricky than some of the animated molds. Start by kind of like pulling apart the car and then getting this off. Oh, and just so you know, this is deployable. You're supposed to push this button and it pops out, but mine don't work. Even on Cheetor, when it's in car mode, it doesn't seem to work. But anyway, we can talk about those later. So you pull that apart and you'll pull that out. Then what you want to do is unpeg the back from the sides here, and you can just kind of rotate them down like this. And then you're gonna take this part here, these sides, and kind of pop them outwards and down. This is always the part that gets me. You can use the front of the car, I think, to help. Man, it wants to fight. This is the part I dislike least. There we go. See, you struggle, and then all of a sudden you just kind of pop it. So I think the trick is grab it from underneath and kind of rotate it outwards, and that'll make it work better than the struggling that I was just doing. So what you're going to do from here is take the front, unpeg it from the side here like this, and then everything should be free to kind of rotate around. Let's just turn his head properly. I'm going to save the face and then fold that down. Now you can take what's the front of his car and rotate it on up like that, and then just take his feet here and kind of fix them. You'll see, rotate the ball joint around and down, take it, rotate it around and down, and you'll know when you have it right because you can do that with his legs. So might as well switch to the front, and I'm just deliberately going to keep his face out of the camera as best I can. Come down to his feet here from a side view, basically fold that open and fold that open, pretty big foot. Fold that, whoops. You can pop it off the ball joint too, if you really want. Fold it open. Okay, and then we come down here, and you may have got your glimpse of the face, so let's just bring it down. So then what you're going to do is bring this all the way up, and it's actually going to just kind of, once you get close enough, let me get the light on it a little bit better here. Once you get it close enough here, you're going to just kind of pop it in, and it will snap in just a little. Right here you can see it, and it snaps in. And get this back out of the way. And then from here, all you're basically going to do is just kind of rotate his hands on around, and he's done. You can do it like this. Now, if you want to take his weapon, you can take it, push the symbol, it'll pop on out. It always seems to work in alt mode, but it does, or bot mode, but it doesn't work in the alt mode. And you put it like this. And I'll just show you that again real quick with the blur mold, because we might as well compare them. So pop it apart to pull this off. Then pop the backs. And then rotate them down. Pop it to the side, pop it to the side. Separate. Separate. There we go. Take this. Rotate that around. Open up his feet. Snap all this on into the top. Rotate it around. Rotate it around. And there you go. And you can see the differences between blur. There's a little bit of different paint applications there just to kind of bring out different details. I like, you know, the green they put here. You still have the same black, but this is similar, that's similar. You do still have the Elite Guard. It's actually like a cutout here, molded into the plastic, which is interesting. I didn't notice that till you side by side with blur. But you do get some little different paint apps, and most notably are going to be, of course, the spots. And actually, on these are like hex shaped, so they're not actually just random spots, they're hexes, and that's kind of cool. Now, the big selling point for this guy is obviously going to be his face sculpt, and he does have a pretty unique looking face sculpt, and you can see here, you know, it's pretty detailed. It's a pretty detailed face sculpt. And if you look at the box, you know, they show you all the black outline and kind of how it's supposed to look. The problem is when you get this guy out of the box, he doesn't look like this. And I'm going to insert a picture here just so you can see what he looks like before. And then what you really need to do is, if you're comfortable with it, you want to get like a Gundam marker or a really fine paintbrush and some black paint, which is what I did, and fill this in yourself. Otherwise, he really doesn't look very good, as you saw with that picture. Which leads me to the statement that if you really want this mold and you're not really, you know, gonna customize him at all to bring out the facial details, Blur is probably, you know, just as good. I think actually, though, unfortunately they're a comparable price right now on the secondary market, so that's up to you. I personally like Blur a little bit better than Cheetor. I really only picked up Cheetor because I'm a fan of just the animated series in general. It's pretty good mold though. He looks pretty good when you can make him stand, because his legs aren't going to go out. But I do like the Blur mold a little bit better, and he doesn't really need any customizing right off the bat. Now, Blur also has some light piping here. I don't know. Let me see if I can bring in a light to show. He does have some light piping in his eyes. And that comes in through the tops up here. Cheetor doesn't have anything like that. His head is just a solid cast, so you don't get anything else with that. Turn that light off and get it out of the way. So, yeah, it's not a bad head. It's a good head. It just needs a lot of extra work to really make it look like what you see in the box. Now, the Blur mold is a fairly tall deluxe. Here he is compared to like Dead End. You can see that he's a bit smaller, and he's more around the size of the Lockdown mold, a little bit shorter, I believe. So you can just kind of see that you do get a pretty big toy. Ultimately, I think Lockdown feels more bulky and like you got more money's worth out of him because of his size. But, you know, they are deluxe, and Lockdown's kind of an outlier in that case. And the Jazz mold is actually more in line with what most deluxes are scaled, so you can just see the size. But it's also nice because, you know, the height does give all these animated toys a lot of personality compared to many other toys. So, as a final comparison here, I've got the Universe version. This poor looking thing. But yeah, I have him here. And you can just kind of see the differences. And, you know, you really get a really nice looking animated style head sculpt on that one when you consider what the head sculpt of Cheetor looked like. So it's pretty nice to see it there. It looks nice. It fits because of the animated aesthetic. And overall, it's pretty nice. Just a quick 360 view. Let's get him out of the way. Let him suffer in peace. Yeah, it's pretty nice. The silver on the shoulders looks better in alt mode than it does, or in the bot mode than it does in alt mode. I don't know why I keep saying that today. The back's okay. I mean, you can see the roof of the car and all the screws and everything, but it's not bad. Notably, this black paint app wasn't on here. Any of the black paint apps you see on here were not on this toy when he was purchased. On the face, I'm sorry. Anywhere else it was. So that's what you're going to have to add. Now, the one thing of note in the comic for the BotCon set, they show him having 2 of these weapons, and I kind of wish that they included a second one in the box, because he would have looked pretty darn cool if he had his 2 weapons like this, you know? And, I mean, that's kind of how they showed him, was kicking butt with 2 of these blade weapons. Both of them, of course, being yellow and green. So it would have been nice to see them. But you didn't get one, so that's a little bit unfortunate. So, anyway, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. And, actually, this is my last review before TFCon. So, yeah, I'll be uploading videos while I'm at TFCon. Maybe getting a review done with Sea-Spray 717. And, yeah, other than that, I'll probably be uploading just little bits and pieces of my experience at TFCon. So, anyway, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks for a official, formal review like this. And other than that, see you guys later.